myriad of technical issues.
Oh,
like the computer updating Windows, and then that Windows update fucking over all of our audio settings that we had fucking ironed out before.
But we're finally back from holidays and stuff, and it's nice. It's nice to be back from holidays. How do you feel, Matt?
I feel fine?
Mostly?
Mostly.
Melissa, you didn't really get any holidays. You've been here the whole time.
Yeah, that's just me.
Hope to hear a lot more of those. So I guess, given the fact that we're a little... Huh?
Should hear one more, maybe? Unless Melissa already did it while I was gone.
Hold ball. I don't know. Okay, well, I guess there's no point in... No shares? Okay, well, without delaying, because we're already a little bit late.
Yep.
Thanks go out to @JoeTheDM for the homebrew that you're going to hear today. We love you. Thanks goes out to Kevin McLeod of Incompetech.com for all the music, including what you're hearing right now. And shout out goes to @Uwubi
Still best Twitter handle.
for the player tokens, which we will be using today. Now, it's been some time since the last time we played, but maybe I can rattle off a quick episode update as to what we did last time around. This is session 10, so recap on session number 9, Rocks and Robbers. Last time on Pokemon D&D, we found Jackson and Brooke taking up a job at the local Pokemon Center, delivering a package to the Route 8/9/10 Pokemon Center. They left hurriedly from out of Brambletown, stopped in at a local farm after some incidents. We picked up at the beginning of the episode, leaving Mary Ella at her farm with her Cubone and climbing aboard a bus. Now, aboard that bus, they met a new friend named Xavier, a young bug enthusiast. And while on their travels, they were stopped and taken at gunpoint by a couple of bank robbers and their APOM accomplice. So through some dubious, maybe some questionable tactics, they managed to thwart the robbers, were questioned by the police, and finally made their way to the Pokemon Center, where to pick up a couple Pokeballs, they challenged Xavier and another young Pokemon trainer by the name of Magenta to a Pokemon battle. The battle raged on, and eventually they won and won themselves a couple Pokeballs for their travels back to Brambletown. And that's where we are today.
Yes. Let's get the old man voice back going, because it's been so long.
I would assume that we already gave our Pokemon to Nurse Joy.
Absolutely. So at the end of the last episode, you guys gave your Pokemon back to Nurse Joy. One by one, Xavier, as the sun started going down, ended up leaving the Pokemon Center. Magenta likewise left, Xavier leaving a long period of time after she had gone. When he finally goes, he waves goodbye as he travels south down Route 10. It is going on maybe 7, 8 o'clock now. The sun is casting a pale orange and pink light over the horizon, colored by lots of clouds. It is a very cloudy day, and there is a very, very light spittle of rain. Sometime between the time when you were inside resting, getting your Pokemon all healed up, it started to come down. It's not aggressive by any means, it's just spitting, mostly.
Well, I know Xavier was talking about a Pokemon towards the south that he was going to go find. I know he didn't want to go with us, but do we want to go down there anyways? See if we can find something?
I think as long as it's on the way back.
What way is the way back? I'm the ranger, I should know.
You guys traveled west to get here. It is a straight shot east to get back to Brambletown.
Natural explorer again for the 57th time. I keep refusing to act as my character sheet for some reason. Yes, natural exfoliant. That's what I'm looking for, Google.
A natural exfoliant. Dirt.
I mean, technically, yes. Well, I know we've got these new. How many Pokeballs? Just
I don't know about
two?
you. I only have 2.
I only have 2 as well, and I still don't know how much money I have.
We can figure that out when it's relevant. You were also given 1 additional Pokeball, and we're told that you can fight
Yeah,
them
it's
off
a
yourself.
netball.
Yep.
A netball.
Paralyze, heal, burn, heal, awaken. Well, maybe we could ask Nurse Joy if there's certain types of Pokemon along the different routes, if there's anything we want to get in particular.
If we keep an eye out for anything interesting between here and back to Brambletown, I'd hate to get stuck in a situation where we got no Pokeballs again.
Yeah, that's fair. How far is it back to Brambletown again?
Isn't it like at least a day?
It was about a day's walk towards Mary's place. And you dawdled a little bit getting there, so it wasn't like you took a straight route. And then you traveled on the bus for what was a couple hours at least.
So it's at least a day of it.
Want to just walk it?
Might as well. Do we want to wait till the morning or head out now in the dark? Or soon to be dark?
Might as well wait for the morning, I suppose. Do you think Nurse Joy has any ration? I've got a few days worth of rations, never mind. I did write
4
down what natural
days.
explorer does.
For 4 creatures.
I have 3 days for the same. We should be fine.
At least until we get back. What time in the evening is it?
You're going on. It's between 7 and 8.
Okay. Well, with that, I guess our Pokemon are back, yes?
Yes.
Brooke's gonna go spend some quality time with Riolo
Right.
before she goes to bed.
And Jackson will do the same with Billy. It's been so long. I mean, in game time, it's been like 2 minutes. In real life, it's been 4 fucking weeks.
He kind of cries and nods knowingly and tumbles forwards a little bit. Riolu is likewise happy to see you. You can see that he's almost got an embarrassed look about him. Just he shies away from you a little bit more. Anytime that you're really looking intently at him, he looks away. He's definitely dealing with something.
I get it, Riolo. And then I'm gonna scratch behind his ear and say, but that wasn't your fault. That was my bad decision, not yours.
He sighs.
You fought honorably and well. You just made the wrong choice. That's not on you. I'll try and do better next time.
He just kind of sits down on the ground next to you. Just kind of lowers his head and closes his eyes.
I will lay on the cot that I assume is there of some kind.
Absolutely. As the night goes on, Nurse Joy eventually starts wheeling out a number of cots from a side closet.
I have like my hand reached out towards him. All night.
Over this course of time, there's only one other trainer that comes in. They look dirty, dusty. middle-aged-ish, in cargo pants, a vest with a number of pockets on it, a wide-brimmed hat and sunglasses, a big beard. The man seems to have come off a long journey. He hands his Pokemon off to Nurse Joy, and eventually, after they're all healed, he takes his own cot and he settles in for the night. All right.
I can report that the audio was a little quiet.
Is it a little quiet?
If you go to the cog by, and then go filters.
Yep.
Just hit the eyeball on gain.
Eyeball?
Yeah.
Okay, there we
It should
go.
enable it, so it'll be louder.
Louder, chowder. Thanks, Nate.
Hopefully
Appreciate it.
Hopefully
Thank
not
you.
too much background noise, and thank you.
We had to reset all our settings.
Yeah,
because
it
of
was-
some Windows updates.
It was a load of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Fun spelled S-H-I-T.
S-H-I-T. Decidedly does not spell fun. So, you guys settled in for the night. Each of you finding yourselves a cot with your Pokemon, and you sleep a soundless sleep. You wake up in the morning to the sun beaming through the front doors, and Nurse Joy moving about. She seems to have a cup of coffee in her hands as she is taking note of some files behind the counter. The older gentleman who had arrived sometime during the night is already gone.
Ryola's still mopey.
He wakes up and he's not mopey per se, but he's not his normal energetic self.
I'm gonna scoop him up and Steven! Certain shit isn't showing up on our sheet.
What are you thinking?
Sorry, it's unrelated, but initiative and passive perception and proficiencies are all gone on the main character one.
I think you said
-2.
initiative isn't keeping. Didn't remember. Passive
Yeah,
perception.
initiative isn't. The only reason I noticed is because I have that feat, right? And it, yeah, I forgot what my initiative was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's +5, isn't it? For your
Yeah.
feat? Oh wait, passive perception, is that 10 plus your?
It's 10 plus your 10 plus
I
your
always forget passive
10
perception.
plus your wisdom modifier plus if your person, yeah.
11. It's not perception.
Perception.
I'm not very good at seeing things. That was a different old man
Is
voice.
it a plus 3 for proficiencies?
Nah, +2. Goes up to
no,
You're level
five.
5.
so it'll be
Three.
+3.
Yeah, okay. Okay. And then I'm gonna try and scoop him up if he'll allow it and say, today's a new day. Let's start out off on a good foot.
He doesn't fight you by any means, but he doesn't seem terribly impressed. He just kind of sits on your shoulders.
You did good. You did good yesterday. We just gotta shake it off.
And what are Jackson and Bonsly?
Jackson is going to, for the first time ever, use his deep connection ability to cast Speak with Animals to talk to Billy. Completely unknowingly, by the way. It's just gonna happen, and he's gonna be like, what's happening?
You look down at Bonsly, and for the first time, basically forever, you feel this perfect kinship with him. And you focus on him. Where normally you hear very childish, babyish sort of babbling. you can now sort of interpret it a bit better. It's not like you actually hear him speaking, but you
Wait, let me
intuitively
clarify.
understand what your Bonsly is trying to communicate to you.
Understanding their response in your own language.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay.
Based on what he's saying, you can interpret it almost like, I'm hungry. We going to eat? Where are we going? Everything's so bright. This world is so scary.
Brooke.
What?
I fall down.
Are you? Do you hear this? Am I?
I mean, Billy crying like he always does.
But it's words. It's words. It's words.
Did you sleep all right, Jackson? What's he saying?
He's saying that he's hungry. He's saying that he fell. He's saying that it's bright and that this world is scary.
I mean, some of those things wouldn't surprise me if he was saying that, but are you sure you're not just imagining it?
Billy, how many fingers am I holding up? And I'll hold up 3 fingers.
Why? I don't know how to count.
He doesn't know how to count.
Are you just hearing Billy's voices?
Riolu, Liam, how are you today?
You can kind of, just by looking at him, intuitively.
Oh, it's only one Pokemon.
It's only one?
I believe. Let me double check.
Because if it's speak with animal, it's every Pokemon.
You have the innate ability to communicate. Deep connection. You have the innate ability. At level 5, you can cast a speak with animal spell to communicate with a willing Pokemon, understanding their response in your own language.
Only one. Interesting. Roll a insight.
First roll of the night, and that is not bad. What's that with modifiers? That would be. It's been so long. 16.
16. Looking at Liam, the language isn't so clear, but you can read in his body language that he seems to be a bit hurt, not physically, but inside, and shamed.
He's not talking like Billy, but I do get the sense that he's a little hurt, not like from being hit or anything, but almost like shame.
Yeah.
Billy, how are you feeling today?
Why, I'm hungry, and I fall again.
I'll go over and I'll pick up Billy, and I'll hold him and I'll feed him a ration.
Oh, you're so warm.
He's saying that he's hungry. He said that he fell again, and now he's saying that he's warm.
Did you hit your head last night?
Or Jackson starts like patting his head, feeling for bumps.
Nope. I'm gonna say Brooke hasn't made any weird connection yet. She seriously just thinks, oh, that's crazy. This morning.
I don't feel any bumps or anything. So I don't think I hit my head. Nurse Joy.
Yes. Sorry. Can I help you? And she puts her coffee cup down.
Have you ever heard Pokemon say words?
Oh, I mean, there's some Pokemon who have been known to speak. I mean, there's a lovely breed of Pokemon named Chatot that lives in the jungles south of here. I'm told that you just can't get them to shut up.
But is Billy saying anything right now to
Billy,
you?
say good morning to Nurse Joy, please. And I'll point him towards her.
He kind of looks up at her and goes, to you it says, you're holding me away from the warmth and I'm still hungry? And she kind of looks at it and goes, oh, he's adorable.
But did you hear what he said?
said ooh, 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 ooh.
No, he said you're holding me away from the warmth and I'm still hungry. Am I the only one hearing this?
I look around the Pokemon Center. We're the only ones there, right?
You are currently the only ones there, other than Nurse Joy,
I mean,
who is looking at you a little surprised, but not uncomfortable, like not weirded out. And she just kind of smiles and she says, "Well, you sure have quite the connection with your Pokemon, don't you?"
I guess.
is this like a normal thing that can happen to trainers?
Oh, people talk to their Pokemon all the time. Absolutely.
Yeah. I talk to Liam, but like I don't hear him say words back.
Oh, Liam, I'm sure says things to you all the time. It's just whether you're open to understanding what he has to say.
But
Billy, quick, what's your take on the socioeconomic position that we're in currently? Asking the deep questions of a bonsly.
Kind of looks at you, and its eyes go big, and it says, "I question the steady rise of capitalism and its effects on the lower and middle classes of Wundoro society. And I'm still hungry."
That's a terrifying response. I'll feed him another ration.
Okay, he just kind of eats it as you like shove it into his little mouth.
So do you ever, Nurse Joy, do you ever have somebody ask that kind of a question to the Pokemon and get a response about how it's worried about capitalism's effect on the lower and middle classes? Because he just, yeah.
She kind of looks at you and moves her head to the side and says, "Well, you certainly do have a curious relationship, don't you?"
I'm gonna pull out Dandy.
Okay.
Dandy! Say something!
Kind of floats in front of you and shakes its little tush. He goes,
So it's only Billy. At least right now. How? Oh, alright.
Your Hoppip kind of just floats in front of your face, and then it snuggles to the side of Nurse Joy's face. And she sort of nuzzles into it, and she says, "Oh, what a spunky little dude."
Yeah, Dandy's very lovely. Aren't you, Dandy? I'm gonna give him scritches.
He shakes his little rump a little bit more. Riolu is watching all this happening, and he's just harumphing.
Brooks like walked away after she was like, I'm okay.
I'll put Dandy back in the Pokeball and then just have idle conversation with Billy while walking over towards Brooke.
Okay. You guys walk towards the front of the Poke Center?
Before Jackson walked over, Brooke says to Riolu, "You know I'm open for you to talk to me, right?"
Kind of lowers his head down a little bit and cocks it to the side and says,
Okay. Are you hungry? Okay. I pass him a ration.
Okay, he takes in one of his little hand paws and starts nibbling at it and looks back towards Jackson and Bonsly now approaching you.
Alrighty. To Brambletown, I guess.
To Bramblefoot
And then
Town.
I take out. So Liam is going to be my active Pokemon.
'Kay.
But I'm going to take out Axel for our lightning rod.
Okay. Little Axel appears before you and starts sniffing around.
Say, okay, Axel. We're going to stay close. Right? Okay.
He just kind of looks at you and shakes his tail.
No more than 30 feet. I'm going to take that as a yes.
and he just runs out before you. As he runs towards the door, it opens, sliding open automatically, and you're immediately hit with a strong gust of wind.
Oof. That's
You see the
unpleasant.
landscape outside is slightly obscured by dust, this being a drier region, and there's heavy cloud cover. It's not a bright day by any means. It's still pretty early, maybe 8 o'clock in the morning. But it's windy and it's very overcast.
Does it look like a storm's gonna roll in anytime soon?
Give me a nature check.
Nope.
It's a 7, but it's not 1.
You're still intrigued by the conversation you just had with Dandy.
How long has it
Or
been?
with Billy.
Is he still speaking?
It's been maybe 15 minutes.
Okay, then no, he's not anymore. It only
Okay.
lasts 10 minutes. Okay, now Billy stopped saying words and is just back to ooh-woos.
Did you do something differently this morning?
I don't know. I don't think so. Also, yes, this is going to be a spell that I'm going to roll for to see when it randomly happens.
Like, were you thinking something different?
I-
I don't know.
I don't think so. I have no idea what is happening. I am scared and old.
I'm gonna say I haven't put two and two together yet.
Well,
The
as
wind
far,
continues to blow around you.
as far as I can tell, there's not going to be a storm or anything. Actually, scratch that. I am confident there's not going to be a storm or anything.
Brooke looks around, clearly looks overcast,
Very overcast,
and it's
Yep.
windy.
and it's very windy.
Is there a storm coming?
Give me an insight check
On Jackson?
on Jackson.
Do I roll deception?
No?
It's a 14.
14. You believe Jackson. Jackson is telling you the absolute truth.
Because why would I do otherwise?
He
Other
knows no
than
better.
pure
He's
ignorance.
telling you the truth.
Are you sure?
It's the Pinocchio paradox. It's if he tells you a lie when he is completely uninformed, he is not lying to you. He's just misinformed.
But-
Therefore, his nose would not grow.
But it's overcast and it's windy. Are you sure?
Yeah. I have no reason to lie. I'm the old frail one here. If anyone's gonna get messed up by a storm, it's gonna be me.
Liam, what do you think?
Does Liam have proficiency in nature checks?
No, I was guarantee he doesn't. No. He's
doesn't
worse
know?
off than Brooke.
You get the
Okay.
distinct impression that Liam is not a meteorologist.
Yeah, you better be right, because things don't look good right now. And I'm gonna zip up my coat.
Okay. Zip up your coat.
I'll button up my vest.
And start walking
Make my way
East.
downtown.
right east.
Yep.
Okay.
Is Axel staying close like he's supposed to?
Eastbound and down. Axel's already
No,
maybe
no,
like
fine,
40
fucking-
feet in front of you. And he's just kind of waiting there, shaking his tail, looking at you with his tongue out.
Axel, that's more than 30 feet!
Kind of sinks his head down a little bit and he starts slowly walking towards you, but at the edge. Like he hits 10 feet, so he's exactly 30 feet from you, and he stops. And then he sits there and looks at you with this dumb expression.
That's better, Goofy. Hey, Axel, this time when we see a Pokemon, can we not chase it away?
Cocks his head to the side. His one ear flops over and the other one sticks up in the air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll be fine.
He's naughty.
A little bit.
Like Charlotte. Guess that. Brooks' stats suck by comparison to Blair's.
And
Did
you
see
guys
what I rolled on that?
continue on
Fucking stupid.
through the wind.
Oh, you made different characters for the one-off?
Look
Yep.
at her stats.
Christ.
Like, what the
None
frick?
of them were below, and that's on 3d6? Fuck.
Yeah, she rolled really well.
Like, yep. Can I keep an eye out for Pokemon?
Sure.
I
give
will
me a
keep my eye
perception
out
check.
as well.
Can I get you both to give me perception checks with disadvantage due to the heavy winds?
Let me double check. I didn't write down Natural Explorer. I lied.
Perception?
Yeah.
3.
Okay.
And this is still grasslands?
This is still grasslands.
Let me double check. No, it's just my proficiency bonus still. Damn. Okay, so that's that's a 4, I believe. Yep, that's a 4.
Okay. You guys continue on. Liam really has to hold on to your head as you're moving. It's almost like this very tight hat on your head as you're moving along the path. The wind is just blowing so hard. There's a point in time where you don't even hear as a bus pulls by you, nearly blowing you off the edge of the road.
Holy crap!
It's just the wind blowing so hard you didn't even hear it approaching, and by the time it's gone, you're thankful that you didn't get hit.
Liam, would you rather be in the Pokeball?
He kind of just holds tighter to your head and goes,
How about 1 for yes, 2 for no?
Jesus Christ.
No?
he holds onto you tighter.
Okay.
You guys continue pushing forward, the wind continuing to blow. Can I get both of you to give me a deck save?
Sure. Hey!
Not at disadvantage?
No.
Okay.
That's an 11.
7.
7.
7-11.
Oops. Let me just throw that somewhere in the corner.
Bye.
Brooke, as you're walking along, you don't see this large piece of tumbled brambles rolling through the dirt and the dust. And as you turn and you put your hands up, as it makes itself apparent, it strikes you on the side. You take 1 point of damage from the thorns striking you. Jackson, however, you see it coming, and you just kind of do a weird matrixy sort of tumble over it. Seemingly not intentional, but it misses you entirely and keeps rolling along.
Does the weather seem like it's getting worse?
Give me a nature check.
Is it raining or anything?
It's not raining. It's been dry this entire time.
It's 7.
A 7? You can't
Back to rolling like Brooke.
It's hard to say. It's been blowing this entire time. It's loud. It's a little bit cold, despite the fact that it's a warm-ish day.
Oh, that's
You
right.
haven't seen the sun all day, but it hasn't been dark, per se.
What did we rule for 2 different things giving you expertise? Because I have expertise in nature
Mm-hmm.
from... What do I...
Don't you have proficiency in nature?
No, I have expertise in nature because I took proficiency in nature as one of my base skills. And being a gardener gives me expertise. But then I also get to double my proficiency bonus using Natural Explorer when in my favorite terrain.
Oh, yeah, I guess just double it then. That makes some sense. When you're in your grassy terrain?
Like, double the already doubled, or just...
Well, it would be...
It would either be a plus
Proficiency
9 or a plus
proficiency
12.
plus
Right, so
proficiency.
it would give you an additional +3.
Okay. So +9.
Yeah.
In favorite terrain to nature checks.
Not bad.
So even on that 1 would have been a 10.
Not bad.
Anyways, I digress.
I'm gonna zip Riolo up into my coat for warmth.
Okay. He just kind of clings to your body and looks out. You're now this weird two-headed beast as you continue walking along.
Okay. And Axel is staying within 30 feet.
He kind of dips in and out. You'll note that this entire time, you haven't seen a single lightning strike as you've been moving, but you've heard them. So as Axel runs beyond your field of vision, every now and then you hear... you see a brief light somewhere in the distance, and then it dissipates.
When the ice cream gets here, will you get up and go?
Sure. Is it getting close?
6 minutes away.
Ice cream inbound?
It was 3 minutes away, and now it's 6 minutes away, so I'm very confused.
Oh, wait.
And I got the skip notification, and then the skip notification went away. So I'm not sure if they're 6 minutes or 3 minutes away.
Why do
Sure.
you say it's 7:19 clock? It is not.
Okay. And you guys keep moving and moving and moving. Can I get both of you to give me a con save?
That's a natural 20 plus my con, which is
Hey.
21.
Wow.
And I believe with my con, that's a 15. No, actually, that's a 17.
Not bad. Despite how difficult moving has been this day, despite not being able to find anything, there comes a certain time when it starts getting darker and you can finally actually see the sun starting to dip over the edge of the horizon. The landscape itself hasn't changed a whole lot, beyond the fact that the dust and the dirt has settled a little bit more into actual dirt as opposed to sand. The general amount of foliage has increased. There's a little bit of light shrubbery and grass, kind of like you were used to when you first entered it from Brambletown. It's getting closer and closer to the environment that you're familiar with, having missed most of this on the bus. But you trudge on. You trudge on seemingly with endless strength. No amount of wind is going to bother you. You're not terribly cold. The dust hasn't bothered your lungs.
And also, because of Natural Explorer, difficult terrain doesn't slow our group's travel in the grasslands, and nor can we be lost except by magical means. And even when I am engaged in other activity, I still remain alert to danger.
So alert.
Sorry, try swallowing pills.
Okay. As the sun starts to sink over the horizon and the last bits of light start to leave, it's now 9, 10-ish.
It's not ice cream time. I mean, like, they're pulling off.
Okay. We'll take a quick break while the ice cream man shows up.
Sweet. Preferably with ice cream at least.
I got cheesecake and double dark chocolate.
Got my typical order. I order the same thing every time.
What's the typical order?
I order my typical order, and I order it the same every time, and very rarely stray from
No, but what
the
is
formula. It's a cheesecake, ice cream, either both cheesecake or cheesecake and white chocolate with score, Nestea, and raspberries and caramel sauce.
Oh, yeah, I got...
It's
What did I get on for add-ons? I got...
basically raspberry cheesecake.
Yep.
It's basically what
Oh.
it boils down to.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah, I got dark chocolate and cheesecake, and then I got brownies, and cookie dough, and Oreos, and I think Nestle Crunch bars, all in it, and then fudge sauce.
Oh, that's English.
Because fuck the diet today.
Yeah, sometimes.
I make up for it for the rest of the week because I'm poor and can't afford food.
Because I'm poor and I don't feed
I'll get my
myself.
calories now. while other people are paying for it. Thank you, by the way.
I just didn't want to take my last dose of pills without
Something.
something again. Because I took my pills this morning without something. I
Yeah,
have
that's
to
not fun.
Take 8 pills a day.
Ooh. That sounds decidedly unbueno.
All right, let me distribute this ice cream. Uh-oh, there's 2 with raspberries? Who got raspberries?
Not me.
Matt has brownie in it.
So I'm the only one without raspberries.
Mine has brownie too.
So
I'm the only one without raspberries.
I don't have brownie.
That'll make it easy for one.
And I don't have brownie in mine.
Donka. Oh, they give you nice metal spoons. That's my spoon.
Those
Never
are
mind.
your spoons.
I was like, wait, there's soap scum on this. I know that soap scum.
I know that scum anywhere.
I'm scared of putting the marble slab ice cream.
I don't have ice cream very often, but it's so good.
So good.
Especially marble slab.
That's pretty good.
I love marble slab. I ordered a big tub of ice cream from there once just because I was like, the skip guys are going to get mad delivering ice cream to the house once a week.
Well, that's kind of his job. I think he almost appreciates if you do order more. Because he makes money per run.
Yep, makes more on the tip every time.
But I don't always tip well.
Then maybe he will.
I'm just saying, if delivery is included, I tip better. But if delivery is not included, I tip worse because I'm like, well, they got to be getting a delivery fee of some kind, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure how Skip works.
I don't know either.
I've heard DoorDash is pretty shitty, actually.
For paying
Where
the people?
anything that you tip doesn't go to the driver.
Really?
It's only the delivery fee that does.
Really? Why even tip then?
Yeah, that's pretty much because you're still tipping the restaurant, I guess.
Are you?
I don't
Are you
know.
tipping DoorDash?
Okay, so what happens? Because I'm going to milk my ice cream for a while.
Okay.
And you just get to have ice cream eating ASMR.
Ice cream. The wind continues to howl and blow around you, but now it's dark. The light has quickly faded and has gone over the horizon. What are you guys doing?
There's no visible places to bunker down.
Give me a survival check.
Just her, or can I too?
Whoever wants to lead it.
It's my good skill, but no. Oh wait, but we're in my favorite terrain, so that's a 9.
Not bad.
Oh wait,
3
no,
to a
that's
9.
a 10.
A 10.
Because I keep forgetting to add my skill.
Very good. A 3 to a 10. I would say based on your lifelong experience and all that proficiency that you have in it, seemingly, it takes you a little while to spot something, just given the darkness and the wind. But Jackson eventually finds what looks to be almost like a ditch. It's just a lower part of the land, and pressing yourself closer to the ground, you're able to escape most of the wind. It's not direct cover, like if it were to rain, it wouldn't offer you any sort of benefit, but this depression is enough that it leads you out of the wind anyways.
Well, if it rains, we'll still get wet, but at least the wind won't be a problem.
Is there anything to
make shelter.
Even to like stretch my sleeping roll to make like a
A lean-to.
yeah. And just sleep in the dirt.
You've gotten a pretty good view of everything around here as you've been going. There aren't any trees. There aren't any large foliage. There's
But
nothing
we're in
that
a bit
would
of a
leave.
ditch.
You are.
So is it
A bit of
possible
a
to
dip.
stretch it from like put some rocks on top and then stretch it and put some rocks on the bottom?
Yeah, that makes sense. Sure. So you just create sort of almost a makeshift sort of
Hidey hole.
hidey hole over top of this ditch.
Pretty much.
Sure, that makes some sense to me.
I snuggle in.
Sure. Ryolu snuggles closer to you.
And I'm like, Axel, you have to stay right here. Right here.
Axel is kind of
You
ducks into the hole and
do
he
we-
looks out and he looks around and he doesn't leave the hole. There seems to be a comfort in staying in there. It's not like he particularly enjoyed the wind himself. But he's also not afraid of this landscape. Like, this is his home. This is where he comes from, right?
Does it look like he's gonna stay like a good boy?
Give me an insight check.
Ooh.
18. You look at him and you see him consistently looking back towards you, almost waiting for you to make a move. You're getting the strong sense, just reading his body language, that he considers you Master Alpha. And although he's a bit naughty at times, he isn't going to directly disobey you in this regard. He's not going to leave you in the night.
I reach out. Because he's sitting like outside the little hidey hole or in the little hidey hole? Maybe?
He's at the very edge. Like, his head is still poking up above the wind, looking around. You can see his mane kind of...
I picture him like super antsy pup, like not anxious like in a nervous way, but like anxious in that like excited, like he's vibrating.
Yeah, his little
kind
tail
of way where
is
he's
like shaking. You can see actual static traveling down the length of his body.
Okay, I scritch his butt. And I say, that's a good boy, Axel.
He starts howling into the wind.
And I cuddle into Ryolu.
And
Riley
I
kind of looks at you and looks at the other dog and goes...
You're a very good boy too, Ryolu.
cuddle into Billy.
Billy looks at you and his eyes just keep leaking and your side kind of gets a little wet as you lean in closer to him. But he doesn't lean away uncomfortably. You just kind of press him into the dirt. And he goes...
Hey, Billy, do you want to be the little spoon or the big spoon?
He looks at you and studies you for a moment.
Blink
Couple.
once for big spoon, twice for little spoon.
He looks at you and he goes... Blink, blink, blink. God damn it. Blink.
We'll start with you as the little spoon. And we shall spoon.
I'm gonna feed Ryolu and Axel and myself.
Rations. Okay.
Hey, I should probably do that thing where I eat. I already gave Billy 2 rations, so I'm down to like 2.5 days worth for
I know, I just gave up and just started counting just ration.
So I would have had 12, so I should have 9 left of individual rations.
Okay, and you guys go to sleep?
Mhm.
Okay. You guys fall into a deep, deep sleep. The sound of the wind just lulling you. It would be more restful if it wasn't so chilly.
why I'm spooning Ryulu. For warmth.
For
Inside my jacket.
Okay. 1 second here, just checking something real quick.
Just checking the stats of these Pokemon that are going to come and fuck you up in the middle of the night.
No,
Because you decided to not have a watch.
no, I wouldn't do that.
Axel wasn't scared.
Jackson and Brooke, you two are both awakened in the middle of the night to the sound of something scritching. The sound of something like
Like, inside the hidey hole?
inside the hidey hole.
Yeah, we did make kind of a really good spot for anything to hunker down in the weather.
I'm gonna look around.
'Kay.
Do I see it?
Give me a perception check with disadvantage because it's
I
still
will do the
perfectly
same.
Ha! 18. I got woke up by something like in my hidey hole. Hell no!
You hear this and you sit up and you look over and you see both your bag and Jackson's bag both torn open. All of Jackson's rations seem to be spilled out on the ground, most of them consumed. Your bag has been partially consumed. And there's this small yellow and black rodent sitting on top of it, going through it. It's tiny. It looks maybe just a little bit larger than the size of your fist with these big triangular ears. And as you look up at it, it stops. And it looks over at you.
No!
And your eyes meet.
Did my food!
And it slowly sticks the last piece of the ration in its mouth.
It's Liam's in my. No, that's a cocky shit.
Do I say this too?
Give me one with disadvantage, a perception check, because it's dark. Wow, both of you guys.
14.
14. Yeah, you look over and you see first Brooke, and then you follow her gaze to
like, "What the
your
fuck,
torn
man?"
open bag with this small yellow and black rodent sitting there, and you see it as it just shoves the last ration in its mouth.
He ate all my rations?
All of the
You said
rations.
half of my rations and all of Jackson's, and now he ate like all the rest of the pieces at one time.
Yeah, his cheeks are like super big.
Billy, use
Ryan?
rock throw.
Rook attack.
Attack with disadvantage?
He's got tremor
tremor
sense, so technically not.
That's probably not going to hit. That's a, let's see. Oh, that's a,
A 2?
that's a 6 total.
That's a 6. 6 does not hit. Your other Pokemon is using...
Riley used quick attack.
'Kay.
And he rolled a 16 plus my dex.
That hits.
And he's gonna do 2 if I can, because it's a bonus action. And he's
Hold
gonna
on.
punch him 2 times if he can.
Yeah, so Liam immediately wakes up, and he goes in for a swift punch right on this small Pokemon who is not expecting it. So roll damage on that first hit.
Hang on, I feel like I have my shit typed incorrectly. For some reason. 1d4 normal damage at this level, right? Yeah, why does it say 2?
Is level 5?
No,
No.
it's only level
Oh.
4.
No, so 2 plus 2 is 4.
4 points of damage?
Does he get to do a second hit?
Hold on. So... Okay, Railu comes flying out of his sleep and just smokes him in the stomach. The small mouse Pokemon goes, "Choo!" And it just drops all this food out of its mouth. You see 3 rations tumble to the ground. Already, this Pokemon looks very, very hurt.
I want some Pokeball!
And it just kind of leans over. Okay. Give me a dex check first. As the Pokemon gets up and immediately tries to dash away.
My dex. That's a 1.
A 1? The Pokemon's already out of the shelter before you can make a go at it.
I'm gonna run after it and try to throw a Pokeball.
Okay, you break out over the top of this depression, and you can see it start running off into the night. The only sort of glance that you get at it in the darkness is you can see these 2 yellow sparks emanating from its teeth and the end of it, or from its cheeks and the end of its tail as it starts to disappear into the night. Make a throw.
Pokemon handling. Oh, that's still Billy. I need to go to me. So that is a 12.
A 12. Okay, the Pokeball hits the Pokemon, and it starts to roll and roll and roll. And just when you think that it's going to break open and split, the Pokeball actually stops. Nope. And glows.
I run up and grab it, and then run back to the shelter.
Okay. You notice you're running out. The wind has largely dissipated. It's not nearly as bad as it was the day before. It's still a little windy, but not nearly as bad. You pick up the Pokeball, and it feels warm in your hand. You can feel it sort of radiating heat.
Ha!
And you know that one of your Pokemon has to go back.
What ones are active right now? Billy, Dandy, Angus, and Jamantha. Let's... Let's send Angus back for now.
So you're sending Angus back?
Yes.
Okay. One Pokeball leaves from your side, and you're left with this small rodent Pokemon.
So, do you know what that Pokemon... I suppose I could just pop it out of the Pokeball now, couldn't I?
Oh, I do not know what that was.
Hey, pop it out!
Sure. It pops out before you, and you see this small Pokemon sort of cleaning itself, and it turns back and it looks over its shoulder at you. Its eyes are really big, and then it scurries towards you really quick and stops right in front of you and stares at you with its big eyes. Its cheeks light up with static electricity as it stares at you, almost trying to stare you down.
I stare back. I stare back, and while maintaining eye contact, pull out my Pokedex and point it at it.
Sure.
Trying not to blink the whole time.
You shoot the Pokedex at it, and it spins and spins and spins and spins.
I don't blink.
Until eventually it stops, and it lights up with a picture of this tiny mouse Pokemon. And it says, Pichu, the tiny mouse Pokemon. It still can't use electricity well. When it's surprised or excited, it discharges electricity unintentionally.
Your name from now on is Machu.
Machu Picchu. It takes another step towards you, and you can see a little spark go. Skitter off onto the ground.
I don't...
It takes 2 more steps closer to you.
I take a step closer to it.
Takes another step closer to you.
I take 2 closer to it.
Takes 1 more, and right now it's standing like just a few inches from your foot, and it's just looking straight up at you.
I move closer just until my foot is touching its toes and stare down into its eyes.
Just continues staring at you. and then it ruffles its fur, and you see another spark go fly off somewhere into the distance, and then it starts sort of cleaning its cheeks.
I still don't blink.
And it looks back up at you, and it blinks twice.
I win!
And it continues cleaning itself. And then it looks back towards the depression where you were lying before, and it runs back towards there. And it
Well.
sort of stops at the edge when it sees Liam standing there protectively.
Go on, eat the shit you already had in your mouth. I'll curl up and go back to sleep.
I'll keep watch for a couple of hours this time before I go back to sleep.
Liam looks at the Pichu, and then it looks back at Brooke, and then it looks back at the Pichu, and it kind of takes 2 steps closer to the Pichu, towering over it, holds out one paw towards it, and kind of shakes it aggressively, and goes, and then it lowers its paw, and it walks back and kind of curls up next to Brooke. And then it lifts its head once more, looks at it, and it puts his head back down.
What's Axel doing?
Axel the whole time has just been sleeping.
Okay.
The Pichu, excitedly, first looks back towards Jackson, and then jumps back down into this depression and starts eating the food that just dropped out of its mouth.
I'm gonna force my Pokemon to eat it after it's been in its mouth!
Little bugger.
What time in the night is it?
It's going on maybe 3 or 4. So it's not even in the night, per se.
Early morn.
Did we get 8 hours prior to being woke up by him?
If we went to bed at 9, no, he wouldn't have.
No.
I'll take a couple of hours to watch.
Well, I only need 1 more for it to be 8 hours.
Yeah, but your sleep was already interrupted, and you got up and did something.
Yeah, it needs to be 8 hours of continuous rest.
So you do get a short rest. But not a long rest.
This is gonna throw off my entire circadian rhythm.
Brooke, like, lies there grumpily for, like, maybe a half hour. And then they're like, fine, let's go.
Your Pichu has moved from staring down you to staring down your Bonsly. And Bonsly just kind of looks at it, sitting on the ground. As the little Pichu moves closer to it, staring it down, almost aggressive.
I can't tell. Are you two getting along?
The Bonsly just looks over at you. And the Pichu lets loose another spark.
Okay, so it doesn't seem to be an every morning thing that I can just understand you. I'll figure this out eventually.
Don't you think really hard about talking to him again?
The Pichu gets right up close to the Bonsly and starts sniffing it.
Or try talking to a different
And Bonsly looks
Pokemon.
uncomfortable as it's being scrutinized so closely. The Pichu just climbs right over its body and starts doing full circles of it. It does so for a couple more minutes, and then it gets bored and it moves on to just studying the rest of the depression. Just trying to stay out of the wind, it seems.
I'm going to concentrate very hard on talking to Pichu, but it won't work because I can only use it once per long rest.
The Pichu kind of regards you a few times as you try to speak to it, but it's more curious and just doing what it's doing.
Didn't work with Pichu. Billy! Try again with Billy.
Billy just looks up at you. Doesn't even bother to stand. He's just sitting there.
Nope, it's not working today.
What was different from today than yesterday?
I don't know, a full night's sleep?
maybe try it after we get a full night's sleep then.
Sure.
Brooke,
Well,
you hear the sound of something moving inside your bag.
Machu!
This is a
Machu
joke.
pokes its head out, and it looks up at you.
Stay out of a bag. You freaking rascal.
Kind of moves a couple feet closer to you, and it stands up and looks at you.
Move a couple
Narrows
feet
its
closer
eyes
to
a
it.
little bit.
And posture too. Two can play at that game. I try to straighten my back out,
Look in my
and I hurt myself.
look in my bag and make sure it was just the Pichu in my bag.
You look in your bag, and there's nothing else in there. It's still pretty dark, but there's nothing else in there.
Oh, brat. Then I tuck it in close to my body and scoop up Raulu again.
I try to stand up straight to posture, and I hurt myself.
Oh, my back. Can I get both of you to give me a con save?
Oh, no, that's a 4.
17.
One level of exhaustion for Jackson.
Yeah, as you guys struggle through the rest of the night, Jackson almost can't even stay awake.
And Pichu's got lightning rod too.
Very, very tired.
Or Machu.
Jackson, you suffer 1 level of exhaustion.
I'll put that in my blank Pokebox.
Furthering to that exhaustion, Pichu is almost just tiresome to watch. As it moves around, it does so with a purpose and with almost aggression to it. There's a point in time where Bonsly gets up to sort of study what the Pichu is doing, and the Pichu, as it moves past, actually shoves Bonsly over and keeps moving.
Hey, that's not very nice. If you keep this up, you're going back in the Pokeball, Machu.
I thought Axel was naughty. Good boy, Axel.
Axel is naughty. This one seems a little more rash. Cough, cough.
Cough, cough.
Cougher.
He's a brat. I'm gonna look around for more Pokemon.
Sure.
Yeah, keep an eye out too.
So this day, coming in as the sun comes up, there is a slight break in the cloud, but for the most part, it is overcast. The wind has largely died down. It's not nearly as aggressive as it was. You can see in the far distance to the north, there appears to be a little bit of a storm, and you can see clouds and rain. But you're not sure which direction the storm is moving.
Could one who is good with nature things be able to discern which way the storm is moving?
Sure. Give me a nature check for the day.
Ah. It's 15.
Nat 20 or a 9. You lick your finger and you stick it in the air. You feel the air moving around it, and you can tell pretty clearly that everything seems to be moving away from you, further northwards. You don't feel like the storm itself is moving towards you.
Well, if there is a storm, it's headed north, and we should miss it.
That's positive, I guess. Hopefully we can run across a Pokemon or two before we make it back to Brambletown.
Hopefully.
Other than the brat! Give Pichu a glare.
The Pichu glares back at you.
Yeah.
And as it glares, it moves very rapidly, a couple feet closer to you, and it stands up again and continues glaring
Bring
at
it,
you.
Pipsqueak.
It keeps almost like it's playing chicken with you. It keeps moving a couple feet closer and stopping, and then a couple of feet closer and then stopping and looking at you.
It's like Joe Pesci in any gangster movie.
Pretty much. It makes these adorable little squeaks, and then every now and then it stops and.
You're just an ankle biter. You don't frighten
His
me.
catchphrase is gonna be funny how.
Keep an eye out for Pokemon.
Same.
Okay. You guys continue moving through the morning. There is a light dew on the tip of every bit of grass out here. You see that a new life has sort of come to this area. And you actually spot just off the road a bit as you're traveling forward to your right. A small scene sort of unfolding. You see what looks to be this small elephantine creature pull a small shrub of grass out of the ground, mistaking it for food, and then suddenly realizing that it is this small bulbed Pokemon, almost onion-like, and it stumbles backwards and lands on its butt and sort of sneezes.
Is that the same kind of Pokemon that Professor Larch had? 'Cause
Pokedex.
there was Billy, there was Liam, and there was the elephant-like one, wasn't there? Pokedex.
You guys point your Pokedex towards it, and it slowly loads. Between the two of you, it eventually comes to a picture of this small elephantine, light blue and orange-banded creature, and it reads, Vampy, the long-nosed Pokemon. Vampy uses its long nose to shower itself. When others gather around, they thoroughly douse each other with water. These Pokemon can be seen drying their soaking wet bodies at the edge of water.
And then I pointed towards the onion-like one.
Okay. The onion-looking one is seemingly stunned by the action that just happened to it. It's looking at the Vampy, and then its eyes, just this small red bead, catch you guys and sort of freeze. The Pokedex takes a little bit to load and then finally comes up with this picture that says, Oddish, the weed Pokemon. Oddish searches for fertile, nutrient-rich soil, then plants itself. During the daytime, when it is planted, this Pokemon's feet are thought to change shape and become similar to the roots of trees.
That's interesting.
Which one do you want?
I mean, either at this rate. I feel like I don't have many.
How many do you have now?
I have 4 and then 2 in the box.
I've got 8 total.
I have 6.
As you guys are having this conversation between you two,
All
the
fucking
Oddish isn't
things
terribly
evade me.
concerned about you. It seems more concerned with this back and forth that it's having with the Vampy. The two of them, I wouldn't say an argument, but they're definitely having a disagreement between each other. The Vampy still looks almost intent on eating it.
That being said, I wouldn't mind the elephanty guy.
Well, you want to take them?
Sure.
Do we want? I think they know we're here. Do we want to bother sneaking up, or do we just want to get into this?
Let's just get into it.
All right, Billy, throw rocks at the plant thing. If it's within 100 feet.
It's within 100 feet. I would say you guys are about 80 feet right now.
Sweet. Then that's a 21 to hit, or no, 22 to hit. No, 21.
Am I allowed to command Axel to do something, or because I said Ryolu was my...
You did say that Ryolu is your active.
'Kay.
But you could swap them for an action.
Okay. Because I would like to have Axel run up and do Thunderwave.
Sure. One sec.
On the Fanpy.
Okay.
Was Fampy ground type? We just heard the Pokedex entry.
I did not tell you the typing, though.
Oh, it did not.
I'm just crossing my fingers for a paralyze before I put in.
I'm not paralyzed, but I seem to be struck by you. I wanna make you move because you're standing still. Everybody matches what your eyes can do.
Or because it hasn't happened yet, can I retract that statement and change it?
What do you?
Well, he has the charger, so I want him to charge him instead.
Okay. Yeah, let's start from there. So, you're making an attack on the Oddish? Let's start there.
I'm doing the
And then we'll roll initiative.
I was doing the Fampy.
Yeah,
Right.
I rolled my attack on the Oddish. 21 to hit.
21 hits.
And I'm pretty sure... Nope, it might not be a D10. It's been a while. That's not the right Pokemon. Billy! Where's your rock throw? It's a D8. So that's 11 points of rock type damage.
Not bad. Okay, you see the Oddish jump into the air as this rock comes flying towards it. And it starts to dart away when it is struck in the side and knocked on its side. It looks very hurt. What attack were you making on this, Vampy?
He's going to use the charger to do a tackle, but he's going to charge with his charger feed.
Okay.
Bull rushing into it. Bull in a china shop. Plus 6, so that's a 15.
15 hits.
And how far away from them are we?
I'm also
You're 80 feet right now.
I'm also assuming Axel was probably closer because he's a shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
30...
for the sake of what this is, that's fine.
Sure. Ooh, there we go.
So that's 6 plus my dex is 8 plus 5 from the charger.
It's 13.
13.
13 points of damage.
Normal
Yes.
type
Not
damage.
bad.
Max damage.
Yep.
Axel's like, fuck yeah!
13 points of yeet.
Okay, both these Pokemon getting hit solidly look pretty hurt. The Fampy didn't see it coming, and almost you saw its nose start to raise, its ears pick up expectantly, its eyes grow really big, and it looked really excited, and then it's just blown off its feet by this full body tackle. As it tumbles to the ground. The Oddish likewise lies on its side, a little bit hurt, and it looks up, its one leaf sort of bent.
How's it look?
Hurt. Give me a medicine check.
Oh, I believe that's going to be a modified 20.
Sure. Looking at it, it doesn't seem to be a Pokemon that has a ton of stamina as it is. Possibly it just being lower leveled. But you took off the majority of its health with that hit.
Sweet deal.
And it is looking decently hurt.
And is this a surprise round?
This would have been the surprise round, so can I get you guys to roll initiative for me?
4.
No.
Oh, it's an action anyways. Stop dying, Melissa. You need to live.
Okay, so 20 or over?
Don't
15 to 20?
Why don't you start with 10 or under?
Yeah, I think that's where we're both situated.
Okay.
5 to 10?
Yeah.
8. Zero to 5.
Your Brooke
Yes, I
has 8.
Yes.
Okay.
4.
Oh, Jackson. Okay. As the Vampy picks itself off the ground, it looks over at the small dog Pokemon that just hit it, and it trumpets.
Yeah.
That's a much better elephant voice.
I don't know how to do that. Just keep your lips together and blow.
Something causes lightheadedness.
And you see it start to flail. Its trunk starts to go, its ears start to go. It raises its front 2 legs and sort of kicks. That is going... Oh, that's really good. That's a 18 to hit you.
I don't think any of our Pokemon have an AC of like 15 even.
So that is... It's going to be 4 points of normal type damage as it flails and strikes your small electric dog.
4 points of... Sorry?
Normal?
Normal type damage.
Okay.
Just a tackle.
The Oddish. What can an Oddish do?
Oddish.
Executor.
Oddish. In the Pokemon, in the very first Pokemon, in Pikachu's Vacation, there's like the transitionary like weird things where it's like feel or whatever, and there's one that goes Oddish Executor. Oddish.
Executor.
The Oddish looks at the scene unfolding here, and it looks to the dirt, and you can see
No,
that
these
it's immediately
fucking-
going to try to escape. Because you're the one interested in it, can I get a contested dex check?
Seven.
7. You look at this Pokemon, and as you reach out and go, no! It starts digging into the ground furiously with its leaves,
What was that,
and
half-decent
you can
Jackson?
see it sink a little bit under the ground, and then just as the leaves start going away,
The leaves go.
leaving just this tiny elephantine Pokemon left. Seems to be adept at running away. Brooke,
It's like a fucking.
you see the one plant-like Pokemon just disappear.
How does the Fanpy look? Fanpy.
Give me a medicine check.
11.
11. The Fampi looks startled. It looks a little bruised and beat up. You can tell that it's sort of nursing a wound on its one front leg. It is... It's hard to get an exact, given its... given that you don't really know it. Based on that roll, you're not getting
Yeah.
too much.
Axel, use tackle.
Okay.
That's gonna miss. I believe that's a 9.
9 misses.
'Kay.
Going in for another tackle, Axel just whips it.
'Kay.
And catches air.
But bonus attack, quick attack.
Okay.
That should hit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's over 20.
Okay. Catching itself on its heel, it turns around quickly and smokes the Fampi in the backside. The Fampi unable to move.
Combo.
5 points of
5
normal
points.
type.
Okay. The Fampi falls flat on its face and kind of picks itself off and shakes the dirt off of its trunk. It still looks almost smiley. It has these 2 very tiny little tusks that look like they're just starting to grow in from below, and it looks like it's breathing really heavy. Jackson.
Billy, you can you copy what the Oddish thing did?
And you're gonna try and use copycat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. In case you use dig to get away.
So this is actually an ability, not a move.
Damn it.
Of it. It is not something that can be copied. Audit or your potted plant Pokemon looks at the other potted plant Pokemon and just kind of stares wide-eyed at the hole that it left behind.
Do you feel where it is?
With tremor sense? No, it's definitely along outside of its 10-foot radius.
10 foot.
Yeah, he's only got 10-foot tremor sense, doesn't he?
30 foot.
30-foot tremor sense?
True story.
He would still be outside the
Damn it.
30-foot tremor sense.
Fast that booger.
Damn it! Fine.
Are you doing anything else?
Nope.
The Fampi starts looking around for a little bit of an escape. And
This
then
thing
it
is
looks
right
back at the small dog Pokemon that's
I can't
chomping
catch
at its hind,
anything.
and it
Even when
goes
I
in
hold the Pokemon still.
and starts flailing at it again. That's going to be a 14,
14 hits.
and it is going to do 8 points of normal type damage as it starts to gain momentum, flailing about.
Angus, no! Or
You
not
can,
Angus,
you
Axel,
can
no!
see the areas where it's kind of hurt, and it just moves a little bit more erratically as it does so, striking Angus. Angus? Axel.
Yeah, I did the exact same thing. They're both frontmen. Well, no, Angus isn't the front. Never mind. Brian Johnson is the frontman.
Oh, it's my turn? I'm going to move forward, and then try to catch the Fampi.
Okay, make an animal handling check.
Throw that
Pokeball.
Pokeball!
At least 10.
That's a 10.
The Pokeball spins and spins and spins, and then it suddenly shatters open, and the small elephantine Pokemon is still standing there.
Brooke can't catch shit because she rolls like shit.
Jackson.
Billy! Cry at the elephant thing! And he's gonna use fake tears.
Okay, he needs to make a save.
Yeah, he needs to make a wisdom saving throw.
It's going to be a 16.
Yeah, it makes it.
Okay.
I was gonna do the math, and it's not worth it.
Undeterred by your crying Pokemon, the Fampi kind of throws up its trunk again and starts flailing. That's going to be a
I'm gonna leave
A
this
12?
one to Brooke. I'm gonna go make myself some tea real
12
quick.
misses.
12
I mean, sorry,
misses.
it hits, sorry.
It hits.
And it beats it. I had a moment.
Your Axel is going to take another 10 points of flailing normal damage as it shakes its whole body, kicking its legs out. Its trunk smacks Axel, knocking him backwards. How's Axel looking?
He's fine.
Okay. Brooke, it is now your turn.
Try and catch it with my last Pokeball, I guess. 16.
Much better.
Yes. Thank God.
This time the Pokeball rolls and it rolls and it rolls until it comfortably comes to a stop.
But now.
Nope. That one. With the Oddish nowhere in sight, and the Fampi comfortably held in your Pokeball, let me just change the permissions on that so you can actually see it.
Chances are I'm keeping it, but we will see.
Just gonna open all the myriad of folders. Okay, as you hold it in your hand, it feels
Copy of
warm.
Famfi, not Famfi.
It feels warm to the touch. Which Pokemon are you going to keep? And which one are you going to let go back to the box?
Interesting. Defense Pro, rollout. I will keep Famfi for now. And Ziggy Tops can go back.
Ziggy Tops. Okay. And your Zigzagoon once again goes back to the box.
Hey, success!
Yeah. Good. Oops, sorry. It's okay. It's a girl. Most of mine are boys.
And what are you going to name her?
Don't know. I have to ponder. She's cheerful.
So not Eeyore.
No.
Your Electrike runs up to you and it starts happily sort of parading itself around you and barking at the Pokeball that you hold in your hand.
Did. Yes, Axel, you did good. You did good. And I pat him on the head. Okay, now lead the way. 30 feet.
We'll get him next time, Billy.
It takes off like a thunderbolt. The path in
Takes
front
off
of you.
like a thunderbolt.
Like a thunderbolt.
Those burrowing, flowery, grassy guys are a pain in the ass.
I want one so bad now just because they keep getting away. Not even because I really want it, but because they keep getting away.
They're a bit of a nuisance.
Yeah,
like-
they're a bit of a pain.
They burrow fast.
Oop, I heard the teething go. I'll be right back.
And then I will proceed to continue walking with less of a care to look for Pokemon. For me anyway. But I will casually look for Jackson. Because I used both mine.
Okay.
Already.
You guys continue to keep an eye open as you continue moving.
Mm-hmm.
Just give me a perception check.
Can I perhaps roll on Jackson's behalf?
Sure.
Both of us or me?
What do you mean?
Well, both of us or one of us, because he's the one more actively looking.
Yeah, it would make more sense for Jackson to be the one rolling. So roll a perception.
6.
6. You're a little tired from your nightly visitor. Yes,
Machu, Pichu.
from Machu, the Pichu.
Who is also out and about
The
wandering with us.
Fanfi's name is going to be Abby, for my own inside joke.
Abby the elephant?
No, because I used to call elephants Abadus.
Aw.
Abby,
Abby the Abadoo.
Wait. That's cute depending on how old you were when you call them Abadus.
like 18.
Oh. I was like little.
Okay.
She was 29 and now she's 30 and she's so over it.
It was like the one thing that I called an animal that made absolutely no fucking sense, and my parents never let me live it down. And I also really like elephants now. So,
Elephants are kind of awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, they never forget.
And they never forgive.
And they mourn their dead. And I find that so tragic, but like very human element. They will. Did you not know that?
I know.
If an elephant dies when they're like I was gonna say migrating, but I don't think that's the right word. When they're moving from one location to another, if
No,
an
migrating
elephant
would be the right word.
dies, then they won't step on the land in which the elephant that they lost died on.
But we'll still drive our Jeeps over it.
Yeah.
You guys continue moving down the path. Brooke, not so intently looking as she goes. She seems to be very content pondering this new companion that she's acquired. I can imagine her holding it quite happily as her small Electrike
Good, because I don't
leads
have
the...
as many. I still want that damn Chimchar that escaped me.
Yep.
Jackson, however, is looking with a very tired eye about the landscape. You see lightning strike after lightning strike after lightning strike. one even striking your Pokemon directly in front of you.
Ah!
But of all the swirling clouds, of the light wind and rain on the horizon, of the gently moving grasses, you don't spot another Pokemon for as long as you travel. In fact, it's Brooke who notices in the far horizon what appears to be a familiar sight. What looks to be almost a low-to-the-ground cloud and a very gentle
We're only there. Ugh.
and it's kind of coming closer to the end of your day. You can see that the sun is starting to go down. It's maybe 6, 7 o'clock at night.
Maybe we can catch one of these sheep Pokemon.
No. It's a bad idea, Jackson. These are Mariellas, remember?
Oh, right, Marabella.
Yes, Marabella. They're her sheep.
You continue to move forward, and the sheep sort of move a little bit off of the road as you get closer. You see standing amongst them a bipedal pink one who kind of holds its arms to its side and regards you as you start to move closer to it.
Hello. But I keep walking. Don't suppose you know where Mariella might be?
The pink one just kind of takes another step closer to you as you start dawdling next to its flock. And it goes,
She's not here, is she? Don't worry, we're not gonna hurt your flock. Keep walking.
Okay, you kind of have to wrestle Jackson away as you're going. He always seems to be ready to pick a fight, but he's too tired to argue at this point in time, and he doesn't say a word as you push him away.
Trying to pick fights with other Pokemon that don't belong to you, apparently, according to Steven.
Jackson's feisty.
No, Jackson has memory issues
And you leave
that
the
are
woolly
very, very specific for comedic timing.
What time of day is it?
Pokemon. As the sheep disappear behind you, and it's really starting to get dark now, it's going on maybe 8, 9 o'clock.
I don't remember it taking this long before.
Well, we did have the couple of hours on the bus before.
That's true. But a couple hours seems like so short a time when you're not walking by foot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you want to see if we can crash here for the night?
Might as well.
Maybe see if she has some rations, since a certain person, Machu, decided to go through our bags last night.
Has Machu just been out of its Pokeball?
Yep. Being our other lightning rod, just in case.
Mm-hmm. It stayed relatively close to you, almost in your shadow. Never leading, always sort of
biting
following.
your ankles.
Doing its own
biter.
thing. You see it like pick up a rock and
It's your thing.
inspect it as it goes by, puts it down, and keeps moving after you.
Is like a toddler that's like full of himself and kind of a bully.
Yeah. I see that.
Walks with confident toddler purpose.
Well, you could tell by the way he knew his walk. He's a toddler brat. No time to talk.
Yeah. Have Mariella's herd started like moving towards her house?
No, you guys continued moving down the road, and the herd was just left behind you.
We could check at Mariella's.
Regardless,
Surprised
it's
she's not bringing in her herd yet.
might as well go check and see if she wants a hand with more stuff and if she can, feed us in return.
That's true. Wouldn't be a bad idea. Keep an eye out for Mariella and start walking back towards the herd.
Okay, and start walking back towards the herd. You turn back and you start walking towards the herd, and it quickly becomes in sight again. It's a little bit further off the road now, more northerly-ish, and you see as you get closer, there's an additional shape added to this herd. You see the sign of a young girl with a cowboy hat, and this small dinosaur-esque Pokemon with a skull top standing on the outside of the herd just regarding them.
Hi, Mariella.
You see her turn and wave to both of you, and she says, "Why? So soon?"
Yeah. We're headed back to Brambletown now.
She steps out from the herd of Pokemon as she starts walking towards you, and she says, "Well, you came at a good time. I mean, night and all, and imagine fix you up a place to sleep, a little better than a sleeping bag."
A little more secure than a sleeping bag, right, Machu?
We're kind of
Glare at
hoping
him.
that you'd maybe give us some rude board and a little bit of a bite to eat if we gave you a hand. This brat got into our bags last night and ate everything.
She looks down at the small mouse Pokemon, and she crouches next to it, and the Pichu runs up next to her, and it gives her this evil sort of eye as it stares at her. Sparks just flying off its cheeks. You see the one pink, half-hairless sheep Pokemon step up behind her, almost
not a
this aggressive shadow cast over her
can
and
if he
over top of
wants.
this mighty Pichu, and it goes "Meow," as it holds its arms out aggressively, and the Pichu doesn't even shirk. It just stands there, and you can see the sparks grow a little bit more aggressive as they flare off of its cheeks.
Pipsqueak, I tell you, he's got angry toddler attitude.
Mary laughs and she stands back up. She says, "This is a friend Pokemon. Don't have to worry about them. You tend to your herd now. Get them back to the farm." And the Flaffy takes 2 looks at the Pichu, turns back towards its herd, stops, turns back towards the Pichu, looks over the rest of you, and then moves back to its herd and slowly starts ushering them.
He'll be bigger than you soon. Maybe not bigger, but stronger?
Mariella laughs. She says, "So is this one of the recent ones you found then?"
This was the
Yeah.
last one that second last one that we found. He
Not
robbed us
enough
last
time.
night, and then we found this elephant fighting an onion earlier today, and she got the elephant. Do I know what an elephant is? Do elephants exist in this world outside of Pokemon?
As Jackson peers through the veil at mythical creatures,
This is his dementia
Beyond.
kicking in, full tilt.
Mariella looks over at Brooke and says, "Has he been doing this all day? Is he all right?"
I mean, yesterday he was having conversations with Billy about the state of the economy.
Well, maybe he does need a night's rest. He's looking a little worn. I mean, old guys his age, they don't typically go out for a walkabout like this. You know?
I know. But just on the off chance he's telling the truth, have you ever heard of anybody actually speaking to their Pokemon?
She says, "Well, there's them Duke boys down the road. I've heard tell that they talk to the Doduo, but you know, those Duke boys ain't right. So we just kind of grin and bear it, you know?
Did
What do
those
you-
Dodo happen to have Confederate flags painted onto them? And is they're called
As Jackson once again peers through the veil.
No, I didn't do the voice. That's purely me.
That was all Matt. Not right. In what way?
Well, you know, a little
Like
bit.
the real, like, redneck inbred? Not.
Well, then you'd think that they are certainly right.
She kind of puts her hands on her hips and she says, you know, it may be all right to speak about folk like us in the city
You're not like that.
that, but what? Like what?
You're not
She
a
says,
redneck.
I'm surprised at you.
You were saying that wrong, right? I was just wondering.
And here I took you for being more congenial than that.
I did say stereotype.
Well, stereotypes can be offensive.
I know. Got it. Just off how?
Well, they're, a little slower than some. You know, I had to repeat the 4th grade and the 5th grade. Well, most of the grades, really. I don't think they finished the grades, to be entirely honest. But they're sure good around the farm. And, you know, they know a Doduo from a Dodrio, so...
Always good.
And for that matter, a Dodrio from a Doug Trio, so... Not all folks can say that.
Perfect.
I certainly can't, mostly because I have no idea what any of those are.
Well, on that note, why don't we get you off? You want something to eat? And she starts leading you off towards the house. Cubone following behind you, kind of pounding the dirt as it goes with its staff.
Carrying Billy and Pichu following. Or Machu following.
Okay, you guys make it to the house about the same time that the Flaffy and the rest of the herd does, and Mariella kind of veers behind the house to let all the Mareep into the fenced-off corral, and then she closes it behind them as they all settle in. You can see that the Rapidash is in its stall, feeding on a large amount of hay that's been thrown in there. The Mareep are also settling into what looks to be grain that's already been distributed in the corral. And there's a number of the other fellow Mareep that had been collected from a different pasture that were waiting for them.
Is there anything you need a hand with tonight, Marabella?
She says, no, it's already done. But many thanks. Many thanks. Come on in. I'll grab you something to eat.
Well, thank you very much for your hospitality.
Yeah, it's no problem. Mom and Dad are away for the moment again. You just missed them, actually. They were taking off down the road.
Is she full of shit?
Insight check.
Like, are her parents just
Insight?
not ever home?
9.
A 9? Not sure.
Okay.
You're not sure? I mean, she seems on the level.
Did her dad go for smokes?
And never come back. That was,
Some
6 years
stereotypes
ago.
are hurtful.
Mariella, how old are you again? If you don't mind me asking.
She says 14? Almost 15.
Must be tough work running so much all the time with your parents gone.
Well, I've been doing it all my life.
Well, you're not much far off from that, aren't you, Brooke?
No, I also can't imagine trying to run my parents' operation on my own. I mean, it's a little different than this, but still, it's a lot to put on. Are they gone often?
Well, pretty often. I mean, there's errands to be run and neighbors that sometimes need to be tended, and well, sometimes they go off and, you know, show the stock to far off sort of areas, you know, breeding shows and that sort of thing. It's part of the marketing and running a farm, really.
So I have a question that I've never thought of until this moment. Are Mareep only bred for being like herd animals, for like milk and that kind of stuff? Or do we eat them?
She says, "Why, hell, not in Wundoro we don't. In Wundoro, they're raised almost exclusively for their wool. Have you not noticed their large, fluffy wool?"
No, last time we went on the existential crisis of whether or not a Marowak has to die for any Cubone to ever, like, exist.
Where Jackson asked a question at some point about eating Pokemon.
I'm pretty sure he did.
Okay. Okay.
But this one's specifically about the Mareep. And now I'm thinking more about the Marowak thing, because theoretically, if the Cubones are wearing the skulls of their mothers, then the mothers would have to die in childbirth.
Or maybe the baby kills and eats the mother. And
It's a rite of passage.
Yeah, maybe it's not nearly as sad as it sounds.
Maybe it's really like scary.
Yeah. It's like
As you guys
most
all look over at
insects.
the Cubone sitting in the corner of the room. A dark shadow cast over it. Mariella says, No. Here in Wundoro, Pokemon meat is, well, it's outlawed. We have different alternate sources for us to gain protein. There's no need for us to hurt Pokemon in that way. But, I mean, in some other parts of the world, that's still a common, everyday thing.
So what kind of meat do we eat then?
Why, it's all plant-based. Mostly.
Beyond burger.
We're all vegans. No!
She says, I mean, I'm sure you knew this.
Do they eat Pokemon in Brava?
No.
Okay.
No, so eating the
I was like, has Brooke eaten them?
the eating of Pokemon is generally considered in probably 75% of the world to being a barbarous act. Is looked down upon. It's kind of like eating horses in a large part of the world. They're animals and they're perfectly capable of being eaten, but
Just saying,
lots of places look down
Brava's a
on it.
different continent.
Mhm.
So not in Brava.
What about wherever the hell I'm from? I can't remember. It's one of the canon places. With Ekritique, I think is the town.
You picked an actual Pokemon place?
Yeah. I made him connected.
Connected.
Whatever place Morty was the gym leader.
Morty. Oh, Morty.
I think it was Ekritique City. Can't remember which generation that was, though.
It is Ekritique. Oh, jeez, that's a blast from the past. Where the heck is that from? Why can't I remember that?
This is why Jackson's so confused, and it's because
Oh, it's from Gold.
on
So
his continent they do eat Pokemon.
So that would be Johto.
Pokemon Johto! Yes! I didn't even know that. But I picked the one with the best theme song.
It's been a long time since
Well,
I
not the
played
best
Gold
theme
and
song, because
Silver.
the best theme song is still the OG.
The
Yeah,
very
Exactly.
best.
Second best theme song is Pokemon Johto.
Never was.
Did they eat Pokemon in Johto?
I think there are some of those original regions where they definitely did. Johto might be one of them.
I crave the flesh of my counterparts.
Jackson communicated that he's eaten Pokemon.
Billy looks a little uncertain.
I wonder if he's even aware. I wonder if he's ever questioned it up until this point. And now that he's seeing farms like us, I was going, wait a minute, do we eat Pokemon? Did I eat Pokemon?
That's a very city slicker thing to do.
Jackson, you seem very concerned about whether or not we eat Pokemon in Wundoro. I know back home in Bravo we don't. What? I don't. Are you from Wundoro originally?
No?
Where are you from?
Intelligence check. Yeah, actually. I think Johto.
Does Brooke know where that is?
Give me a history check.
No.
Not bad.
No, it's an 8.
You don't know. You might not have even heard of Johto. Strangely enough.
I'm not sure if I know where Johto is.
I
Did
also
you eat Pokemon in Johto?
I don't remember, but I do remember there being meat. So my assumption would be yes. But maybe there was a different source, but I don't know what that source would be were it not Pokemon.
Mariella looks at first aghast, and then she kind of settles on curious and says, what was it like?
Chewy?
She says, you know what? I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I mean, just talking about it makes me think of poor little Cubone over there. And, it's just too much. Too much.
To be fair, I don't think it would have been the Pokemon like Cubone. It would have been more like the Mareep. The ones that breed a lot more and...
Like livestock.
Yeah, the ones that are more
Her
like
eyes go
livestock.
wide, and she says, But they're so useful for their wool. Why would you ever... I can't fathom.
I feel like maybe like certain water type Pokemon make sense too. Not that I would eat them. Like a fish?
She says,
But now we go to the back to the logical conundrum of, are fish a thing in and of themselves, or are they just the Pokemon of the different breeds of Pokemon?
That is true. You also described a Pokemon like an onion, so now I'm like concerned that vegetables are sentient.
Oh my god. Do they have like wheat and barley that are living?
Technically, it's all living.
I mean, yeah, but like corn that knows that you're eating it.
Corn that screams.
The literal children of the corn.
But then there's like the sentient ice cream.
The children of the corn.
Wait, there's sentient ice cream?
I actually don't know if that's from Brooks and Place because I can't remember what gens I picked.
Vanillish? I think that was yours, Jen.
I think we had this conversation
Yeah, I think we did,
before.
because it was Vanillish and Trubbish that we were having the
Yeah.
conversation about.
Vanillish, Vanillite, and Vanillux.
So hang on. So that if there's Pokemon that look like ice cream, it stands to reason that there might be other creatures that these Pokemon look like that exist outside of being Pokemon.
Well, hold on. That's just a Torchic and the egg sort of conversation, you know. What came first? Was it the Pokemon that looked like the ice cream, or was it the ice cream itself?
But
Did we model ice cream
like the oddish that
after
we
a
saw,
Pokemon?
you described it like an onion. So, did like some plants just evolve to be sentient?
Maybe, but also with the whole Torchic and the egg thing, it has to be the egg.
Are you sure?
Yes, because in order for a Torchic to be born out of the egg has to pre-exist for the Torchic to have come out of.
Yeah, but you know, this one time we had an Ampharos on the farm lent to us from a breeder from across the sea there, and it laid an egg, and well, what came out wasn't a Mareep, I'll tell you that much.
What was it?
Well, it was a little
Cubone.
funny. She says it was kind of blue. It had this funny bobble-like tail. Definitely not a Mareep.
Don't know what it is.
Give me a nature check.
Woo! 17.
Wow, a 17. Yeah, that sounds
Meryl.
like what would be described as either a Meryl or what more likely an Azurill.
That sounds like a Meryl or an Azurill. I haven't seen any personally. They don't They're not grubba.
Yeah, that sounds a little bit like what the nurse called it.
Yeah.
I mean, we got rid of it right away. We found a better home for it. You know, we weren't equipped for such a thing. But sometimes Pokemon breed with
a plane such as this
unexpected
isn't
mates.
exactly a suitable
you never
place
know
for
what
a
you're gonna
water
get.
type Pokemon.
Wait, so that would mean, wouldn't that mean that one of those Meryl or Amaryl or whatever had to breed with the what was it? Ampharos?
Can they do that?
In order, can you crossbreed Pokemon like that?
Well, certain Pokemon are more compatible with others. I mean, you couldn't breed a Geodude with, say, a Mareep, for instance. Just wouldn't work.
But then why does it work
Anatomically,
another?
they just don't. Well, you know this.
Obviously we don't, or we wouldn't be having this discussion. But anyways, it does stand to reason that if there's an ice cream Pokemon, that there might be other Pokemon that resemble things that are naturally occurring that don't have sentience. So like that onion Pokemon earlier, it could make sense for there to be an onion that doesn't have sentience and can't, like, move around. Because otherwise, if everything is a Pokemon, then it doesn't matter what we're eating, it's Pokemon.
So creepy. If I roll high enough, can I say I know what a Farfetch'd is?
Give me another nature check.
Well, you can probably tell that this entire conversation is pretty far-fetched.
No, 8.
No.
So weird.
She says, well, and speaking of food, she goes over to the freezer and she pulls out these pre-packed meals and she pops them into the microwave, each one of them.
I'm gonna read the ingredients on the package.
I
Brings them
am
over and
too.
she puts them down on you.
Is there packaging?
If there's
There is
ingredients, I'm
packaging.
reading them.
I'm totally
Yeah.
reading the ingredients.
You know, first off, this is like 2 days worth of sodium content. It's heavy in preservatives.
Oh, this is exactly what I need.
Most of the ingredients are like
Plant-based
5, 6 syllables long. You don't recognize them. Nothing on this sounds natural by any means.
Well, this is why we don't eat.
So is everything we eat synthetic and grown in a lab then?
As she's sort of eating her food, she puts her fork in this small cut of something gray and floppy, and she kind of holds it up to her mouth and she says, oh, well, I don't know. I've never been to any of those facilities before.
Because if everything we eat is synthetic and lab grown, those corporations must be making hella bank off of that. Billy, you're right.
Don't ask Mariella. It's something that he had a conversation with Billy about this morning.
You see her just stuffing her face.
I will eat it all down.
Okay. You guys eat what looks like a flaked and reformed sort of cutlet-shaped meat.
Welcome back, Nate.
With a side of what looks like corn kernels, and then this brown lump that you know is supposed to be like some sort of cake, but it kind of boiled up and over the edge a little bit, leaving little crusties on the plastic siding, and then sunk down, and most of it is uncooked and almost just more like warm chocolate pudding. It's your pretty typical microwave meal.
Delicious.
Once you guys all finish your meal, she cleans up each of the little plates and she throws them in the garbage.
Well, thank you for dinner. I think I'm gonna hit the hay.
I think I'm gonna grab Billy and hold him a little extra tight tonight.
Glare at Machu Picchu. Grab Raimulo and go find a cot.
As you guys have been doing this, Machu Picchu has just kind of been raiding cupboards. He's been jumping from like cupboard to cupboard. He grabs like a box and throws it on the ground. You see cereal spill all over the place.
Machu!
And he's like picking up little pieces. He looks up at you. His eyes sort of narrow as he sticks another
I was gonna say, I just picture everything.
One
hitting
more
you.
strike
Like
and
a
you're back in the
handful, like-
balls, sir.
He grabs like 3 off the ground, and then he moves a couple steps closer to you.
I move a couple steps closer to him and I pull out his Pokeball.
He lifts it to
I'm
his
telling
mouth,
you, man. Toddler.
Put it closer to his head.
Toddler.
drops one of the kernels on the ground.
I move my hand back a little bit.
He drops another kernel on the ground.
I move my hand back a little bit.
And he shoves the rest in his mouth.
I boop him on the head with the Pokeball.
He disappears inside the Pokeball.
Bad. Sorry, Maribella. He's not broken yet.
She goes over and she starts
Housebroken yet. Housebroken.
I haven't broken his spirit yet.
I mean, essentially.
I haven't broken his will to live and serve me forever.
will break you.
She laughs and she says, No, I understand. You know, this is why I'm not really much of a Pokemon trainer myself. I can barely handle little Cubone over there, let alone, well, a whole menagerie of Pokemon.
Yeah, I think Machu Picchu is probably the most challenging of all the Pokemon we've caught so far.
Yeah, he's
even-
especially rowdy.
Even more than your little Electrak you had there? I remember him being a little
He's
testy.
naughty, and so was Charlotte.
But he doesn't get into things, and Charlotte doesn't either.
I don't know
Yeah.
if I've met Charlotte.
No, she's my little spider. Spinnerack? Spinnerack. I think that's right.
And I mean, all the Pokemon to some extent or another have come with difficulty.
Except for Billy, and give him squitches.
Yeah, I think our starter Pokemon have always been loyal and not so troublesome. And then I scratch Leo.
He sort of leans a little bit away from you and then leans closer into the scritch.
But all the ones
Baka.
we've caught in the wild are not without their unique challenges. First
Dandy's just especially cuddly.
time, Sassy is. He's got some groove to his step.
Angus is a little headstrong. Jamantha's also a little headstrong. Haven't had Archer out at all. Haven't really had Stacy out at all. Who else? I have a fair few Pokemon now, actually.
I mean, Ziggy is calculated and careful, but man, cheeky bugger. He was digging holes and catching people in them
We happen to be two of those people.
on more than one occasion.
Yeah.
I think you told me that story before.
Eh,
Man, you guys really have quite the colorful bunch.
yes.
We're quite the motley crew.
Sassy's particularly strong-willed, I guess, and first time we met, she scratched me up pretty good, but she took down the Rhydon in the end.
Looks like you patched things up.
Yeah, they're funny like that.
Well, when I first met Cubone, he was quite a bit younger than he was now. That was maybe 2.5 years ago now. And, well, I found him out on the range, just this one solitary little egg. And, you know, my mom was the first one to spot him. And, she scooped him up and said, you know, darling, I think it's time for your first Pokemon. And I took that little Cubone egg in my hands, and I loved it so dearly that it hatched the very next day.
That's really sweet.
And she says, but you know, he came out kicking and screaming, eh? Busting out of his egg, he knocked me good on the head.
Oh.
Kind of woke up with him sleeping on my chest.
It's really sweet, though.
He's been my trusty companion ever since.
really curious to see if Jackson can actually talk to them.
Well, we'll find out tomorrow. I'm going to give it the old community college try.
As crazy as it sounds, it would be kind of nice to know what was going on in their heads. I think I just allowed Brooke to remember. Is 18 enough for her to realize that she did something really fucked up on the bus?
That you remember doing something fucked up on the bus?
When I grabbed the little girl and willed her conscious?
I mean, there's no reason why you would forget.
No, but put 2 and 2 together, that is something that seems unreal.
That not most people could do.
Sure.
Come to think of it, Jackson, when did you notice this? Just the other day?
Yeah, just the other day in the morning.
That was the night after the bus.
It was, yeah.
Wow, did something happen on the bus?
Oh, the bus got held up.
Oh, why? I didn't know. I'm so sorry to hear that. I mean, you look all right, but I don't want to presume. Or was anyone hurt?
The robbers were, and a little girl got shot.
Oh no.
Did she fall unconscious?
She did for a minute,
My lord.
and then me and Billy took out the robbers, and you helped the little girl.
I just hugged her and shoved her under a... Weird.
So a little girl, just down the road from here.
She's okay now.
Yeah.
She was actually seemingly fine after
All things considered.
she got shot.
That's sounds like you experienced yourself some sort of miracle.
Is Axel still running around?
He has been. I imagine he's not even in the house. You just hear him running around outside every now and then a.
I'm gonna say Axel hasn't had a short rest. And I'm gonna go outside and I'm gonna scream, Axel, come here.
He's just kind of standing in front of the Rapidash. The Rapidash is pounding the ground very frustratedly with its one hoof and snorting as your Electrike is just harassing it.
Get your butt over here, you monster.
Kind of growls a little bit at the
You
Rapidash as
monster.
it starts moving backwards away from it, and then it turns and runs towards you and kind of looks at you like this. What a good boy I am! What a good boy I am!
Is he
Okay, good, Mama.
looking still kind of beat up?
Yes. Yeah, he hasn't had a rest or anything
I'm
yet.
going to hug him like I hugged the little girl and think really hard about wanting him to be better.
Okay.
And I'll go put hit points into him
How many hit points?
till he's full.
Okay.
'Cause
You
I
kind
have
of
enough.
you hug the little Electrike, and you just will him to be better.
Will him, okay?
And as you do so, he looks and acts more sturdy. Like there's a strength renewed to him.
And he clearly looks kind of better.
He still visibly has wounds, but is less hampered by them. Kind of like with the little girl, you didn't heal her gunshot wound, but you sustained her in some other way. It's like you restored vitality in some sort of way to her. So regardless of the fact that she still sustained a wound, her general health was brought up to a stabilized
I'm going to
place.
pick him up, and then I'm going to grab Riley by the hand and run into the house and be like, am I crazy or does he look better? Ish. Better-ish.
Medicine check. That's only an 8.
Yeah, Mariella kind of looks at Jackson and looks down, and then looks back at Jackson and says, "It's just like them Duke boys, you know. Mom always said they ain't right.
She thinks I'm crazy.
I don't notice that much of a difference, to be honest, but I didn't notice how hurt he was before, I suppose.
That's okay. I think... Jackson, I believe you. I don't think you hit your head. And then I'm gonna take both of my boys and go sleep. Then put Axel in his Pokeball first and then snuggle up with Riolu.
I'm gonna take Billy to sleep. He can be the big spoon tonight.
Mariella bid you both a good night
Have a good night, Maribella.
and let you off to sleep. Over the course of the night,
Salmonella would have been a way better mishearing of the name. Oh, whatever.
occasionally you are awakened by the sound of something in the distance. The sound of a chirping / rattling sort of sound. It's this beautiful sort of natural chorus of noise. And then you lull back off to sleep
I almost knocked that Thampy unconscious.
Yeah, you almost did. Morning
By
comes and you're
exhaustion.
awakened to the smell of fresh coffee.
Now I can't enjoy anything as much as I did before because I'm going to always question whether or not it's Pokemon based. Like, is coffee ground Pokemon?
How does Riolu seem to be feeling this morning?
Riolu, I wouldn't describe him as chipper. He wakes up and for a moment you can almost see that he forgets whatever was ailing him. And then he looks back at you. And he kind of looks down at the ground. And he gets to his feet and kind of crosses his arms and waits for you to get ready.
Okay. If I notice this, I'm going to get down more to his level and say, Riolu, we're going to win some, and we're going to lose some. But you and I, we're in it for the long haul together. You got me? I'm going to give him a hug.
Okay. He doesn't immediately accept the hug. He doesn't push you away, but he doesn't lean into it anyways. And then he slowly kind of melts. And then before he can let himself just like give himself up to the hug, he starts pushing you away.
I know you love me, and you can't deny it forever.
He pushes a little stronger.
I know you want it.
Throw him up over my shoulder.
Okay. You just kind of like throw him onto your shoulder and he clambers up to sit there.
And then I'm going to go grab a coffee.
Okay. You guys walk out to the kitchen to see Mariella pouring a couple cups for you, and she brings them over to you. It smells strong, and it smells burnt. You note that she hasn't poured a cup for herself.
I want to see what hour it will take effect.
Yep. 15 hours from now is when it's going to hit him. When he's going to have his next random talk with
Like
Billy.
the middle
with
of
whatever
the night?
Pokemon is out.
Oh, Billy's hungry!
Well, right before we go to sleep, because if it's 8 hours for a long rest, 16 hours of daytime. So right an hour before bedtime, he's going to be like, wait, I can hear you talking again! Whichever Pokemon is out.
Please be Machu Pichu.
Mariella hands you two a big cup of coffee each.
Thanks,
says,
Jaya.
"Wow. Good morning to the both of y'all.
Good morning, Maribella.
And how was your sleep?
It was good.
Much more restful than the other night.
Well,
Wait,
very
hang
glad
on.
to hear
I
that.
need to test something. And I will pick up Billy, hold him like in front of my face. Good morning, Billy. No, it's not working this morning.
Want it. Lots. Like, really hard.
Billy, how are you this morning?
Kind of toots a little.
Be right back. As I waddle off to the bathroom.
And you're left alone with Mariella and Ryolu and a bonsai.
Might
And a
sound
Cubo.
crazy, but
No, I
I
still have
actually
Billy.
believe him.
Oh, you brought him with you to the
Yeah.
washroom? He just kind of sits
Me and
there in
Billy
front of the
share
toilet.
all things.
And he just kind of
Phrasing.
watches you. His eyes are wide as he watches you. A little bit of water streams down the side of his face.
And what Jackson doesn't know is he's having a very serious conversation with Billy about the conversations last night about Pokemon being eaten for food.
Oh, God.
Billy's been tore up about it ever since last night.
Is that how you get maximum negative loyalty? Just talk to your Pokemon about how you might potentially be eating their kind?
Marielle says, well, what plans do you have for today? Where are you headed?
Honestly, probably just back to Brambletown. I don't know if I'm ready to take on the gym. So, I don't know if I'll be doing that, but I at least gotta get stocked up. I can't have my Pokemon falling unconscious and not be able to do anything about it. And then I kind of scratch Ryolu. That was not a good feeling as a trainer.
He says, well, I can imagine. You know what? Sometimes I catch the Pokemon League finals on the news. And, well, some of those trainers, they look awful tough. But each of them have, one thing in common. They search out other strong trainers and they test their will. And that's the only way they get better, Time, effort.
Yeah.
Unbreakable object meets unmovable whatever that saying is.
Honestly, catching the Pokemon is a challenge. And I'm pretty sure the gym in Brambletown has a few flying type Pokemon at least. It looks like an Avery. And aside from Billy and maybe Jamantha, I know none of my Pokemon are really equipped to fight a ranged attack. Well, that's nothing against them. It's just they have a different skill set.
Says, well, I mean, couldn't you use that to your advantage somehow?
I don't know. I was gonna say I've tried before, and I was like, that was Blair. I don't know if Matt knows what I had there.
Mirabella, you're out of toilet paper.
She kind of, all right, I'll be right there. Excuse me for a moment.
No worries.
She wanders off to a side cupboard. And then she, holding the toilet paper, considers her option standing in front of the door.
Just leave it in front of the door and turn away.
She thinks about it for a second, and she puts 3 toilet paper rolls on the ground in front of the door, stops to think about it for a second, and then turns around and walks back towards Brooke.
And I'll just reach over and undo the doorknob. Billy, go get the toilet paper and bring it in.
Slowly starts
While
walking over
holding
to
the
it
door just ajar enough that he can get out and then back in.
with your little cane.
Yeah.
Billy goes over and he sort of boots the 3 little rolls of toilet paper inside, just kicking them. Close the door behind him.
Thank you, Marabella.
Honestly, I've thought about it, but it seems difficult. Like, why? How do you get a flying Pokemon that can hit you from a distance to come down to your level? Honestly, if it weren't for Billy in the last fight we had, no, those flying type Pokemon would have been stuck up there for some time.
Well, I can't claim to be, a master strategist, but I mean, have you even tried? Have you gone to the gym? Have you scoped out what kind of trainers are there? I imagine there's other flying type Pokemon around that you could train against. You know, pick up some techniques.
I was hoping to train up. I think Ryulu needs to get some skin in the game and get a good fight in. I think he wants that. I kind of glance down.
Ryola kind of shrugs.
I go, he's a stubborn one.
Mary Ella doesn't say anything. She just smiles.
It's worth a shot.
Throw Billy to attack the flying type. 3 squares. Just throw Billy. Throw Billy! That's only a viable strategy for me, Nate.
It's okay. I'm pretty sure I annoyed the shit out of Peter when I had my Pokemon kick the flying boulders at the flying type Pokemon.
Oh, God.
And he was like, I'm surprised that even worked. And I'm like, so am I, but I'm taking it.
It's the magical world of Pokemon and the magical world of D&D. And I will come out of the bathroom at this time.
What do you
Billy
think,
in
Jackson?
tow.
We ready to go?
Yep.
I think Ryola's got a bone to pick with some trainers outside the gym. And then I
Ooh.
wink.
Do you want to keep an eye out for Pokemon on the way back?
We might as well. You still have a Pokeball, right?
Yeah, I still got one. Don't you still have the one fancy one?
I mean, if push comes to shove and you're willing, then yeah, we got that.
Oh, I suppose that's better for certain types of Pokemon, didn't he say?
I think he said bug and water.
Oh, no, so maybe not too useful here.
Nope, but maybe down the road. Riley, did I ever tell you that water Pokemon are something I'm particularly interested in catching? You think you can help me do that?
Kind of cocks his head to the side.
My partner in crime?
And he nods.
Studying them. For my parents.
He cocks his head to the other side.
Yeah. Our facilities back home aren't well equipped for water type Pokemon. Or they could at least be better. So that's my goal. Or one of them at least. So I'm going to need help catching them.
And he nods.
Good deal. Fist bump.
He gives you a fist bump in return.
Jackson, did you ever figure out why you left home? Other than to catch Pokemon?
No, I haven't remembered just yet.
Well, perhaps we'll make it to some water and I can show you one of the things I love.
Hopefully. It would be nice to get to know you a little better. Not that I don't know you, but I don't really know myself either, to be honest, so...
If you didn't know me, it wouldn't surprise me right now. Take every day by day. And I'm happy to have you along.
Yeah, it just got stuck in my head, too. Fucking Godspell.
I didn't. Because I don't know that reason.
You guys kind of finish your coffees, and Mariella leaves you to do chores and comes back and sort of ushers you out of the house as you guys are getting ready to take off. And as you begin to leave, she says, "Oh, y'all have a lightning rod Pokemon with you?"
We have 2 now.
I take out Axel.
Oh, perfect.
And I go, 30 feet.
So you're all set then.
Yes.
Yeah, we should be good.
Excellent.
But
well,
thank you for your concern.
Well, don't be a stranger if you're ever around in the area. Well, you know, we've always got a place here.
We appreciate it.
Well, of course. Now, take care of each other. You seem to attract some sort of trouble wherever you go.
You're telling me.
And watch out for any ride on the road.
Right. Yeah.
Oh,
Because
yes.
they're an issue. Yeah.
But we have Pokeballs now.
Yeah, you can catch one.
We can certainly try.
Or come back again.
Take
I'm
it
gonna
on
start
the
walking
other
towards
side.
Brambletown.
Head east, I think.
Head eastward.
Looking for Pokemon.
All right,
Well,
you
going
guys take off and start running into the new day.
It's a brand new day, and the sun is
Oh,
high.
see, that's not the song that came to my head. I came from,
All the flying types are singing
Remember
that you're gonna
Spirit?
die.
I haven't
Spirit?
seen that movie in ages. The one with the horse. It's a new day. It's a new start. It's alive. You've never seen that
No, I don't
movie?
think I've ever seen that movie.
It actually is a bright, sunny, calm day. There is not
Fine. Oh, my
a
brother loved that movie.
there is not a breeze. There is not a cloud in the sky, and the sun is picking up over the edge of the horizon. It is still fairly early, and you've got a whole day ahead of you. But I feel like that's probably a good time to call this one.
It's a new
Sure.
day. Sure.
A little bit shorter.
Because of technical issues,
Yeah, that's okay.
but it happens.
That's
It's alive with the
I will have to remember 15 hours into this day is when Jackson's going to be tripping balls and talking to one of his Pokemon.
Please
Whichever one
be
happens to
Machu
be out.
Pichu. It's gotta be Machu Picchu. I want to see that.
What kind of character Machu's going to have?
so.
Bring it, bring it, bring it. Yeah, come on, bring it, old man. Me, me, me. I'll fight you. Fuck you. I'll fight you.
Fuck you! Fuck you, fuck you! Fuck you!
Exactly. Also,
Perfect.
thank you, Twin Rainbow, for the follow over on the Twitch.
Thank you.
Throwbilly. That's gross. Bone. Magikarp. It's so much fun catching up with all these comments after the fact.
Yep.
Sorry we can't comment as much during the actual stream, but we
Yeah,
appreciate
these ones are
everything.
RP heavy. Our Friday ones are much more interactive. Because those are the ones where we're just playing video games. We're just kind of hanging out on the couch. This Friday, we're still doing
I
Spoderman.
don't know how
true,
I'm
we're
gonna
coming
make
back.
Friday work.
What?
Yeah, we'll figure that out.
What's happening Friday for you guys?
Oh, she's got her own D&D game that she's starting with her work peeps.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So at work, we just did a poll to see who was interested in learning more about D&D and playing like a session once or twice a month. And I thought that if we got like 8-ish people, that the 8-ish people probably wasn't going to be a constant, and it would be like some days are 5, some days are 8.
But they seem to want it to be a constant.
And that and that James would DM because I was like, I want to play. And then James was like, hey, Melissa, want to DM? I really would prefer to do like tables of like 3 or 4. And I was like, fine. But I'm so used to DMing with like,
You could always co-DM too.
yeah. I'm just so used to DMing for like a group of kids and there being like 12 to 15. So when James like, yeah, 3, 4 is a suitable DM number, I'm like, 6, 7. Like,
I mean, 3 to 4 is kind of like the perfect party size because at that point, you have, if it's 3, a democracy. If it's 4,
I
not
liked
quite
4.
so much, but 4
I
is a good
liked
number.
4, but 4 was hard when it was like 2.
Yeah, when there
and
was
2.
ties and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But 4 was nice also, just for being at a table with people and being like, okay, you two are doing your own thing, so we're just gonna have side conversations.
Well, that's what I mean. And 3 is hard because
Then you feel like someone's being left out whenever those conversations.
yeah, exactly. So I was kind of like, you know, like 5 to 7, like that's a reasonable number, right? James wants like 3, and I'm like,
Battle Ram with Green Flame Blade. That actually sounds pretty badass in regular ass DMD as a blade lock or something.
Friday is session 0, and I get to help a whole bunch of people make D&D characters.
That's the most fun part to me sometimes, is just making a character.
Yeah.
Playing them is fun too, but
Well, my coworker Michelle was asking me for links to go look up classes and races because she's that excited to play. So, yeah. we'll
Good.
see.
I want somebody to play one of the weird races, like an elephantine or something like that.
Yeah.
That's a cool race that I want to try at some point. It is OP. Anyone want to play Smash? Danny might want to play Smash at some point, but he's never at these streams anymore because his work schedule does not allow him to be here like ever.
True. It's very sad. Okay, well, it's getting late in the night, so let's see here. Next stream, session number 11 is going to hit on the 9th of September. So
Yes.
we'll see you then for that. Also, as Matt mentioned, Fridays are Spider-Man currently, and then moving into something else
Yeah.
after we finish that up.
Hopefully in a timely fashion.
Mm-hmm.
So that the next game that we play is done in a timely fashion.
Ooh, yeah. Lots of things in the future.
Although if we're not done until October, we could always just switch to a horror game until.
True.
But yeah.
Yeah, we'll figure that out as we go. Thank you again to @JoeTheDM for this wonderful homebrew that we played today. Thank you to Kevin McLeod at Incompetech.com for all of the music that you heard today. I'm looking into a couple new tunes. Not
Yeah.
Not
Kevin
Kevin
McLeod
MacLeod.
related. That kind of caught my ear today. So you might be seeing some new diversity in the next stream. Also, thank you to @Uwubi for the player tokens, which I guess you didn't get to see today.
Oh, no.
That is okay. Sometimes Theater of the Mind is fun, too. We'll be back, like I said, on the 9th with more stuff, new friends, all that kind of stuff.
Yep. And back this Friday with more Spider-Man.
And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We appreciate all of that. Thank you for all the views that we've had on the videos lately and all the recent subs. You guys...
And the recent follows.
all of those. We
All of the
appreciate
recent
it all.
support that you guys have given to us.
It means a lot. And
It
it helps us do what we do.
does.
So, that's all I got.
Yeah. And I would, Nate, if I had a Switch, but I do not. And I do not have the money to get a Switch.
Okay, that's all I got. So, good night, everybody.